the chair of the Criminal Justice Committee is our Mr. Rick Robinson, who is also the chairman of the Newark Civilian Complaint Review Board. So we are very honored to have Mr. Rick Robinson as our chair and making sure that we are in every conversation across the state when it comes down to our people and justice. So we like to thank Mr. Robinson for that.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Marcus, for that introduction. And again, let me extend my appreciation to President Smith and to all the different committees on the state and all the different branches throughout the state, especially the Newark, New Jersey branch, which is spearheaded by President Deborah Smith Gregory. I am deeply honored to receive that award. And you will not, what I should say is, with that honor, it's a testament of the hard work that we all put in. But again, very deeply honored. And I want to thank you all. I really do, from the bottom of my heart. So we are criminal justice for the New Jersey State Conference. We're going to touch on a couple of things. We're going to start off with cannabis, marijuana expungement, criminal expungement, the Department of Justice for the United States, the Department of Corrections. We're going to speak about the New Jersey State Police, and we're going to touch on a matter that has actually troubled a lot of people here in Northern Jersey, the shooting death of retired U.S. Army Major Gulia Dale III, who is going to be honored by our Veterans Committee, which is spearheaded by Brother Biden, Chairman Biden, and the reparations piece, which is going to be touched on by one of our guest speakers, Taifa Esquire, and we're going to end with the CCRB, the Civilian Complaint Review Board, and that's going to lead us into another one of our guest speakers, Mr. Zai Mohammed. So again, welcome, and I'm happy to be before you. And let's start off with cannabis. We have to credit our President Smith and our Legal Redress Chairman, Greg Zeff, for actually threatening New Jersey to put a person of color on that commission. It is somewhat, and I can't believe that they actually tried this, but because of President Smith and Chairman Zeff's efforts, they actually changed their mind and they actually put a person of color on there. I want to actually applaud them. Now, this cannabis situation for the state of New Jersey is supposed to be open to everybody who wants to actually look into the different types of ways that you can actually garner business, whether it's in the dispensaries or whether it's with growth, or there's a number of ways that you can actually generate income. And it's not supposed to be penalizing when it comes to Black and brown people, even if you have a criminal record, even if you have that. So please understand, people, if you are interested in the cannabis business, please contact the Cannabis Commission, I think what is it? I think Cannabis Regulation Commission, and find out exactly what they're doing. I know they have something coming on the 23rd of September in Carteret, but please find out, because there's lots of monies that can be made, and I'm quite sure even if you're not interested, somebody in your family or somebody that is close to you will probably like to be involved and see how they can actually start a business or actually partner with some people and generate monies. This is a great opportunity, but if we don't push the button, we're not going to be looked at as somebody that counts. All right, please engage. After that, marijuana expungements. So we were supposed to have for New Jersey marijuana expungement before cannabis actually took place, but they seem to have put the cart before the horse in this matter. So if someone is, or any branches, if you know somebody who is going through a marijuana expungement, on the face, it's going to be, okay, it's being done, but it is not going to be completely finalized. On the face, it will say that it's being looked at, but it will not be completely finalized. And you have to pressure your county prosecutor's office and indicate to them that you're waiting for this because it's maybe something for a job or something like that. But a lot of people have been complaining, and this is the reason why they have not gotten their full expungements yet. And some people are waiting for jobs, but they can't get the job because their marijuana charge has not actually been dismissed. So you'll probably have to go obtain a disposition and bring it in with your petition for expungement and see that it's actually addressed, because as I mentioned earlier, a number of people, they have contacted the NORC office. They have contacted me, because they know of my situation regarding the platform that I have as the chairman for the New Jersey State Conference, NAACP. So I always refer them to somebody in the prosecutor's office. The platform of chairman for criminal justice goes a long way, because I have gotten a lot of people, well, strike that. We have gotten a lot of people. And I have to stress that, because some people have a different set of eyes now on the New Jersey State Conference, NAACP, as well as all the different NAACPs in the state of New Jersey, different branches. So it goes a long way, and we've been able to get some people some things, and some movement, I should say. Regular criminal expungement. Now, we are dealing with matters of the court, and I'm going to tell you that everything is not going well. There's a change in, I would say, processing every other month. I've been on Zooms with Judge Grant. I've been on Zooms with Essex Vicinage, and they are trying, and that's great. It just seems that, first of all, virtual court is going to be in our lives forever now. So if you are not actually going to court in person, they're going to ask you to have virtual courts. So be prepared for that, everybody. And if you have people that are older, or who don't know how to use a computer or a telephone or something like that, they can get assistance from the courts. So you have to actually, they have to actually, I would say, try to find out what's going on with the courts, so they can actually be addressed in a fair fashion, I would say. So criminal expungement have taken a hold because of COVID, and a lot of things are not getting done for the criminal expungements, which is troubling. But the New Jersey State Conference committee that I chair, we are looking to see if we can do something about that. COVID has played a big role, but that doesn't stop us from actually inquiring and trying to work with the judiciary pertaining to this matter, because a lot of people pre-COVID was having difficulty because the petition was not being addressed properly, and they had to rewrite the petition. Okay, that's fine. But once these people who are looking to better their lives and who are entitled to the expungement are not really taken care of in the way that they should be, something should be done. So along with President Smith and Greg Zeff, or Legal Redress, I'll put together something, and maybe we can actually address the Judge Grant pertaining to how we're going to go about this being done in all the different 21 counties. So this is significant. Next on the line is Department of Justice. The Department of Justice has reached out to us concerning the Edna Mahan situation. There seems to be an agreement. In terms of the shutdown, they're still working that out. And we're still waiting on the information pertaining to the restructuring. So, as everybody here knows, Edna Mahan was a disaster. Women were getting raped at this prison. A number of people have been indicted and have been incarcerated. And I'm talking about correctional officers and other staff. I know it's deplorable, but we have to move forward. And it seems that the Department of Corrections and United States Department of Justice have reached some type of agreement. There will be a consent decree in place for that particular prison. If you need more information, please contact me, and I'll give you much more of the details. So the thing with Edna Mahan is hopefully they put together something that's going to better the situation for these women. And again, as I mentioned earlier, we're looking for the information from the governor and his team regarding the oversight. The oversight is they're shameful. Nothing was done to help these women. And that, in my mind, indicates that maybe litigation should take place. But I'll discuss that with President Smith and Chairman Zeff of the Legal Redress matter. Because a number of people in the prisons, besides the women, none of their complaints have been addressed. And that is shameful. And the reason why I say that is because our tax dollars pay for these people salaries and pensions. So just to give you a picture, the head of Bud's person was generating over $100,000. But you have women getting raped at a prison that you're supposed to have oversight over. I just don't get that. And this is for years. So we are inquiring and we are being, patient with the governor's office and some of the different departments that actually runs that situation. But the fact is, we will not let it go. And that is something that is number one and number two on my notebook in terms of the Criminal Justice Committee for the state conference and for the Newark, New Jersey branch. The other thing is we have the Department of Corrections. There will be a meeting next week with the NAACP and the Department of Corrections. Miss Victoria Kuhn is now the acting commissioner. I have been told that we will discuss matters in terms of improvements. The agreement that actually took place with the United States DOJ and the new consent decree monitor. I think she has a lot of experience with the different areas pertaining to incarceration. So we look forward to that meeting, and I will keep the state conference and all the branches abreast in terms of what comes out of that meeting. It is also noteworthy that if anybody in this organization wants to be part of a board or look for employment with the New Jersey Department of Corrections, please contact me, please. We want as many NAACP people in there so they'll know that they cannot actually do what they did before pertaining to the rapes and stuff like that at the Mahan prison. Terrible. I want to say that the former commissioner, Marcus Hicks, was an excellent partner to us. He was an excellent partner for the NAACP. We got to know as much as we needed to know. The fact is the Mohammed situation was somewhat, as I mentioned earlier, deplorable, and they had to make some changes. So changes were made. So again, we look forward to our meeting with Acting Commissioner Victoria Kuhn. And as I mentioned before, we will keep you abreast of anything that comes out of that meeting. The next thing I want to talk about is the matter concerning retired United States Army Major Julia Dale III. Okay, so people, let's understand something, all right? There was an initiative that was put out last year by the former Attorney General, I think in December 2020, before he left, that all counties are to actually engage in, I would say, mental illness trainings or something that can actually help to solve the problems and de-escalate matters when law enforcement are involved. Okay, that was in December 2020. In January of 2021, there was a gentleman by the name of Edwin Green in Newton, New Jersey, who is a veteran for the United States Army, and he was a former police officer. Apparently, if you look up his name and find out the information, he was suicidal and he shot at the Newton, New Jersey police twice. The Newton, New Jersey police did a wonderful job. They shut down the town. They brought in resources from the county, Sussex County. They brought in everybody for this gentleman who shot at the police officers twice. The matter was de-escalated, and this gentleman was arrested. That was in January 2021. Now we come to the part regarding July 4th of all days. July 4th, 2021. Mr. Dale suffers from PTSD. The town knew this already. Mr. Dale had an episode, and somewhat his wife called the police because she feared that he was suicidal or he could be, do damage to himself. This is really, really disturbing. The police got there. Footage is available on this as well, but it's partial footage. When the police got there, they asked him to drop to go to the ground and drop down or something like that. And because this gentleman suffered from a mental illness, he was not responsive. So some more commands came from the police officers, and what resulted was less than 10 minutes, he was shot and killed by the police. This is troubling because you just demonstrated in January that you had a matter regarding mental illness person, and you de-escalated the matter, and you wind up arresting the guy. This guy, Major Dale, who, mind you, everybody, was an award winner for numerous awards. This guy served at the Pentagon. This guy did 2 tours in Desert Storm. He was a war hero. A war hero. He was given an award by our governor, Phil Murphy. He was shot and killed in less than 10 minutes. He wasn't provided with the resources or anything that Mr. Green was provided with. And the reason I tell you this because in my upcoming op-ed, it will point out the fact that Mr. Green is white, Mr. Dale is black. Quite disturbing. You have a man who is a stellar person in his family and in his community, and he was taken from them both. And the reason why this is so upsetting is because the family doesn't know which way to go. And I actually am sick of Black men and women getting killed by law enforcement. So I will actually do whatever I can for that family. They filed a complaint with Newark. We have been involved. The matter has been covered by CNN, NBC, and New York Times, along with some other local media and press. But the matter is not over yet because we are still going to honor him. I want to thank Chairman Biden for offering to help this family in regards to recognizing him as a veteran war hero. That meant so much to the family. And the other fact is that whole community knows about the NAACP in New Jersey. They really do. So I will keep you abreast of that. And I look forward to being a representative to help that family. And believe me, it is tragic when people are not actually judged by their actions. They are judged by the skin color, and we have to actually try to confront that and ensure that it stops happening. So, two other things. The reparations part, which is going to be covered by one of our guest speakers, this is something that we all need to be engaged in, because the wealth gap that has been pretty much created is staggering. And I'm looking forward to hearing what Council has to say about this. This is something significant. Last week, Ryan Haygood of the New Jersey Institute for Social Justice touched on this on a Zoom summit, and it was actually so much entertaining, and it gives you drive and desire to do something. Because my favorite words are fairness, justice, and equal rights, really. And that's what I live by. Doesn't matter to me what color you are. I want to be treated equal. I really do. And I have been in a situation before, well, not before, but plenty of times where I haven't been treated equal, and I demanded to be treated equally. Lastly, we're going to talk about the CCRB. So I am privileged to be the chair of the Civilian Complaint Review Board. The matter has been shut down by the New Jersey Supreme Court, which has, in my belief, have failed us. But we have it in legislation. Is being moved by Assemblywoman McKnight for as A4656. And this is something that we need, throughout the state. I just told you about Major Dale, who was Black, and he was taken from us from law enforcement. He should have been given the same situation as Mr. Green was, who was white. And he's a veteran and a former police officer, but that did not occur. And this is the reason why the CCRBs is very important. It gives you a picture where fairness is going to be played as a big part of the decision making. If you had CCRBs, you would not have a George Floyd matter. You would not. We need to actually support this bill from Assemblywoman McKnight, and we need to see that it gets passed through. The brother that I'm bringing to you, who will be speaking after me, is one of the stellar organizers, speakers, and demonstrators in the state regarding to his NCAP, which is part of the ACLU, and the People's Organization for Progress. Him and his chairman have taught me a lot. and I have learned a lot pertaining to doing what's right and talking about doing what's right. So without further ado, Mr. Zai Mohammed will speak to you, and please engage in his conversation because he is truly one of us. He fights for fairness. He fights for situations involving disrespecting civil rights. So these are the things that we need to actually partner with people. And on behalf of the NAACP State Conference in the North Branch, Mr. Zai Mohammed.
Greetings, everyone. It's an honor to be with you this morning or this afternoon. I guess we're transitioning. I want to thank everybody that's been involved in doing this great work. I'm particularly proud of, I want to shout out somebody who may have trouble being with us even in this virtual space because of a personal challenge she's going through with her health, but it's somebody hugely deeply to me because she's my sister, and that's Vivian Darks, right? Sis, I hope you're resting well and resting comfortably and not worrying, right? Your NAACP family got this covered, and we're very proud of that. So I want to make that shout out and get that straight. I want to shout out also the person who'll be coming after me, your guest speaker, is a longtime comrade in the fight for reparations and other particular battlefronts of social justice, particularly our human rights issues and in the human rights arena internationally, as well as the often forgotten plight of political prisoners here in the United States, and that is Taifa. If you're not familiar with Queen Taifa, you are in for a powerful treat because she is indeed one of our warrior lawyers on a front that is finally beginning to get some attention of a real kind in very local spaces like Evanston, Illinois, like the state of California, like the state of New Jersey, right? And on the national stage, right? So I want to acknowledge those and give those shout outs right away. I want to build immediately on the remarks of Brother Robinson, right? And on the matter of Major Gulia Dale, so much for thank you for your service. Career vet, officer, on the 4th of July, put in mental distress by being surrounded with fireworks because the man had been in combat a lot, a decorated combat veteran. His dear wife calls for help. And her dear husband, just shortly removed from retiring from over 40 years of military service, winds up being taken out of here when he should have been treated like that previous case that Brother Robinson described in January. It's always different when it comes to Black bodies. So I want to, I don't think Brother Chairman mentioned that there is a vigil and rally in Newton for this elder tomorrow at 3:30 at the Newton Square, 3 Newton Street at 3:30. And Newton is Northwest New Jersey, right? It's not one of our cities where we tend to be concentrated. So I'm sure turnout of that looks a lot like us will be very appreciated by his family. So I hope folks can actually turn out for that. I want to shout Rick out again for that, for the work also of some comrades from the National Action Network, Brother Steve Young. Has also played an important part in bringing attention to that family and to that situation out there, right? Now, on the matter of civilian review boards, I want to say this, and I'll be brief. And I don't know if the piece that I shared with you, Marcus, can be shown, but we are in a very serious fight on the legislative front for a strong civilian review board bill. I want to modify Brother Robinson's remarks in this way, and then I salute Brother Robinson is the chair of the first civilian review board in the state of New Jersey in the city of Newark. But however is this, right? There are civilian review boards around the country. The problem is that civilian review boards, as we know them, have no teeth, right? So it's not enough just to have a board. We got a board now, but the question is, do we have the instruments to hold police officers accountable for their bad behavior, right? So the bill that's coming forward that we need everybody's support on, and that bill is in a package of bills that absolutely need to be supported, is a bill that gives us civilian review boards wherever any community wants them, with full subpoena power, with a disciplinary matrix, with the capacity to do independent and concurrent investigations, and not to be held up and tied up by the corruption and the bureaucracy and the hesitancy of internal affairs offices, as that has always been done over the years, blocking real investigation, blocking accountability, right? As opposed to genuine investigations with real integrity happening, right? So we want strong civilian review boards, right? So we need to provide as much support for this as possible. Now, there are other bills that also go with this, right? There's also a police transparency bill that's being put forward, right? A police transparency bill will make sure that officers' records, particularly officers who have disciplinary records, officers who've been engaged in bad policing practice, right? Whether accidentally or on purpose, right? Can be that those records should be made public, so officers cannot have their bad behavior covered from one place to another. On the matter of George Floyd, as Brother Robinson cited, right? If we had this dimension in place, the officer who killed George Floyd in spectacle fashion had a horrible, long-standing history. Had there been a method of accountability to check him before that record got so long, George Floyd would be alive. So that's a detail that's important to appreciate. So in addition to the Civilian Review Board bill, we have this police transparency bill. We also have a bill limiting the use of deadly force. All that applies to what we just described, right? A bill ending qualified immunity, right? Police get certain protections that they believe they're absolutely entitled to, even when they engage in bad conduct. The time has come to flip that script. And quiet as it's kept, even though it's been one of the most intractable dimensions of police, the fight for accountable policing, there are some states actually starting to nibble and turn on that question. The state of New Mexico just recently, or is it Arizona? I'm sorry, Arizona, ended qualified immunity for police officers. And those are not necessarily blue states, right? And finally, abandoning the criminalization of chokeholds, right? Of chokeholds. George Floyd was down, he was handcuffed, totally subdued. There's no reason why that behavior persisted any further. As soon as those cuffs were put on that brother, he should have been put on a car and taken to wherever that he's supposed to have been taken to, and put before a judge the way you're supposed to put somebody before a judge. That did not happen. Not only did it not happen, and I can't remember this guy's name who's going on trial now, and he should be going on trial. And it's a shame Young had to shut down the whole country over the entire summer just to get some proper attention for that, even though it was all captured on videotape, and he knew he was on videotape, but because he believed he was above accountability, that he was going to be protected anyway, even though Floyd was already thoroughly subdued and providing no threat to anyone, arrogantly, he did what he did and thought he was going to get away with it. And most have gotten away with it. So the time to come is for us to change it. I want to say this also. One of the most important things I want everybody to take away from the handful of minutes that I have with you is that one of the things that our community has to relearn in our practice, particularly around the dimensions of voting and legislation, is that it is not enough to just vote. And it's not enough just to vote our people in and to think that everything's going to be all right, because we know we have folks who look like us who have not done the right thing in many instances where we needed and expected them to do that. I hate to report that the graphic that I'm showing you, right, is a reflection of that. There's a young brother I want to shout out from the New Jersey Institute of Social Justice, and his brother Yannick, who did a strong essay around George Floyd when it came to his anniversary. So it's been a year since George Floyd was killed, and the state of New Jersey has done nothing along the lines of meaningful police reform, including at that time, stalling all of these bills, right? And I want to shout out Marcus Sibley, right? Your press man and your man in Burlington County, right? Because Marcus raised the question that the time has come to take on the question of police unions. Police unions strong-arm, weak, spineless politicians. The police unions are the ones who went into court to block our civilian review board from having the teeth that it needs. Police unions got behind Derek Chauvin, that's his name. His name came back to me, right? Regardless how wicked and wrong and ruthless and savage that man was, the police unions were fully behind him in that racist, homicidal practice that he engaged in that the whole world saw. Police unions were behind that, right? And the police unions strong-armed through both the Senate and the Assembly a horrible bill. It's called S3939, a bill that allows police officers to, before they do their reports, they can look at their body cameras footage and get their story straight before they put it down. It makes a mockery of the whole use of body cameras. And what was deeply offensive in my modest judgment in that whole process is that a whole lot of Black legislators participated in that, thinking that because they needed to give the union something, they would get something back. We've got nothing back. Got nothing back. I want to shout out Senator Rice, elder, former police officer, by the way, from Newark, who stood up against it and voted no. I want to shout out Senator Nia Gill, crackerjack Black female lawyer, elder stateswoman now in the legislature, who voted no. I want to shout out Loretta Weinberg, getting ready to retire from Bergen County in the Assembly, who voted no. I wanted to shout out my daughter in nearby East Orange, New Jersey, Brittany Timberlake, who stood up and voted no. Everybody else voted for that horrible bill. And the task now is to get Governor Murphy, right? And we ain't talking about crazy, backwards, DC storming, right-wing disease spreading crazy white folks in the Republican Party. We're talking about Democrats of all stripes right now. They need to hear from our community in no uncertain terms that Governor Murphy, you need to veto that bill, and you need to lead your Democratic Party and get our legislators to step up with some spine and honor this moment in history, honor our George Floyds, honor our Gulia Dales, and get behind these bills. Get behind these bills and make this happen. And why am I so, why do I get so riled up like this? This went down several days after the anniversary of the Charleston Emanuel 9 massacre. And why do I cite that? Because the principal target of the Emanuel 9 massacre was none other than State Senator Clementi Pinckney, who was also the pastor of Emmanuel Baptist Church. A few years prior to that, in South Carolina, one of the most violently racist states in these United States, I must say, Brother Pinckney, not only did he get body cameras pushed through the state of South Carolina's legislators' halls, but almost unanimously, only one person whose name we will forget in the halls of history because he makes no difference whatsoever, but Democrats and Republicans alike were challenged to meet the historical moment with a moral statement of unity around body cameras in the way that we genuinely need them. And when Governor Murphy gave us body cameras, he even said, this is not enough. This is what he said. We need some other things to strengthen this whole package of police reform. Well, brothers and sisters, elders and young folks, these bills that we're presenting to you right now are that package. So it is important, if you do not have a relationship with your representatives in the assembly, if you do not have a relationship with your representatives in the Senate, the time has come for you and I to do that, right? That is the task before us. And I'll wind with these remarks. My particular organizing function with NCAP, and just some background on who NCAP is, Newark Communities for Accountable Policing. NCAP is an initiative of the mighty ACLU of New Jersey, and I'm sure we've got some folks from the ACLU or who are here, both as observers and participants, as we've always been, right? That provides an umbrella organization for the social justice organizations represented on Newark's Civilian Review Board. Newark Civilian Review Board got it going on. I really got to shout out my little brother Ras Baraka for what he put in place. And the whole country is fighting for us to be vindicated with that board the way we initially envisioned it, right? So the ACLU's got a rep on the Civilian Review Board. The NAACP, you just heard your rep, the great Rick Robinson, is the chair of the Civilian Review Board, right? The People's Organization for Progress has a rep on the Civilian Review Board, and there's several other organizations we can go on down the line. But NCAP, our role was to unite the community around the getting behind Mayor Baraka's call to make the Civilian Review Board something to be put in place in Newark, and that meant unifying our city council. We did that. Our city council voted unanimously an ordinance into law, right? When this call was first made several years ago. Our task now is on the legislative front. We have a statewide coalition of organizations, of some 25 organizations, of which the NAACP is represented. Particularly, I'm very proud of the Newark chapter of the NAACP. My sister, Deborah Smith Gregory, and my sister, Marilyn Cooper. Marilyn actually reps for the local chapter in our regular meetings on a regular basis. Your NAACP is well represented in terms of those chapters, but I would say that the NAACP, our oldest premier civil rights organization, built for fights like this. I would hope that all of our chapters would engage in this particular process, in this particular battlefront, in this particular way, and begin to, and to demonstrate it in a very visible way, begin to engage our legislators and show our community how to do it in the process. So that Senator so-and-so, Assemblyman so-and-so, we don't know where you at on all them other stuff, all that other stuff you're talking about, but if you come into our community and you represent our community, we want the police transparency bill passed. You need to vote for it. Not only do you need to vote for it, you need to endorse it, be a sponsor. Right? Imagine if the Democratic Party actually acted like some party that has some principles and spine that speaks to what they say the Democratic Party talks about, right? Imagine if as a block they all served as co-sponsors, that bill would be unstoppable. And it would send a kind of message through state houses around the country as how a party who is very serious about social justice, serious about honoring social change, serious about doing what's right at a pivotal historical moment when it takes courage to unite and do what's right. It would be a powerful example. And the whole world, well, so the whole country, I should say, is looking at how we're going to do this in Jersey. So in the year that marks the centennial, check this out, and I'll wind here. The centennial of racial profiling, born right here in the Garden State. And the centennial anniversary of New Jersey of racial profiling, we got a chance to totally flip the script on the worst practices and expressions of racial profiling and police abuse that's literally in our hands. This is our time, family. In the language of Bobby Seale, the chairman of the Black Panther Party, and I want to shout out convention leadership for bringing folks like Chairman Bobby to you several years ago. My roots are in the Black Panther Party. We say right on. We say all power to the people. We say seize the time. Thank you. The time to make this change is now. It's in our hands. Thank you for listening.
First, I want to say thank you, Zai. You have been part of this fight for a while, and I have learned so much from you and your chairman, Larry Ham. And I'm honored to actually know you, brother. On real talk, everybody, this gentleman is your voice. He is your voice in the street, on the ground, working with different organizations. So believe me when I tell you that the NAACP State Conference has a friend in Mr. Zai Mohammed. And again, I want to let you know that I'm honored to actually be a friend of yours, along with Chairman Ham, with Pop, and everybody at NCAP and the ACLU. You are extremely effective, and we actually want to extend our appreciation to you, brother. It's well deserved for you.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
going forward, if anybody have any questions, they can put it into the chat involving my chairmanship with the NAACP. Again, I will mention that I have a meeting with the Department of Justice and the Department of Corrections. If anybody would like to be on boards or looking for any kind of employment opportunity for even a relative, please contact me. I'll put my email in the chat, and you can contact me. Won't be a problem. And believe me, one of my aims is to actually try to get as many NAACP people involved in terms of state agencies, employment, or anything like that. So recently, I was contacted by the New Jersey State Police for a training for become an ambassador for the New Jersey State Police, and we just I didn't take the position. I didn't take the training, but I recommended somebody from the NAACP. He's a great lawyer in the city of Newark. His name is Anthony Wright. I'm sorry, Anthony James, and he will be going forward. But again, once I get these invites for something, and Marcus, he knows this, I'm going to actually try my best to look for anybody in the NAACP to be involved. As the New Jersey State Police, Marcus has also been invited for the ambassadorship. So either he'll take it or he'll recommend somebody that can actually go forward. But this is the one thing we got to remember, people. Mr. Mohammed brought to us a worthwhile discussion on a number of different things. So we had to reach out to our legislatures. And we will be spearheading that campaign in regards to Senator Rice for Essex County and Assemblywoman McKnight for the Civilian Complaint Review Board bill and a number of other packages of bills that actually should be passed through. So again, Brother Mohammed, I want to thank you. Big blessings to you, bro. Big blessings to you.
Chairman Robinson, can you touch on the meeting that you had with the Attorney General's office?
Sure. The Attorney General's office actually engages with us now because President Smith told him to. So I want to actually give a big shout out to President Richard Smith because they listen. Everybody knows this, but they love him, but they don't like me too much, and that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. So we discussed matters regarding the creation of a task force. That task force is to address rogue officers when officers do something that is unlawful. And it's not a situation where it's penalizing, it's just a situation of monitoring. And Marcus was in that meeting, and the fact is some of the Attorney General's people did not like the idea, but I want to actually inform everybody that Chairman Sibley distinctly told the people on that panel for the Attorney General's team, you are missing the idea. The spirit of Brother Robinson's, I would say, information and presentation is to try to control rogue officers. So you will not have any rogue officers, which means accountability, that Zai just pointed out, is crucial. And, you know, we are still engaged with the Attorney General's team. And I want to thank Chairman Sibley for being involved, along with the other members of the New Jersey State Conference criminal justice team. We are small, but we are mighty. And again, I want to thank President Smith and President Smith-Gregory for actually having us have or allowing us to get the platform. They have been tremendous, especially on President Smith on the state front and President Smith-Gregory in Essex County. So if anybody have any questions, I'll leave my email in the chat. And regarding Marcus, just pointing out that the Attorney General meeting, we're still engaged with that. So if you have any suggestions or any recommendations, please contact me. It's no problem. If you can't get in contact with me, you can contact Chairman Sibley. He will actually get in contact with me because we work on a lot of different projects. If you can't get in contact with me, I would recommend that you contact Zai Mohammed, who is with NCAP. He can get in contact with me as well. And if you can't get them, you might have to reach out to President Smith.
And Chairman Robinson, you have a minute and a half left, and you have a question in the chat saying, could you speak about the trauma training for police and residents in Newark? Is it a statewide program?
Okay, so the trauma training was it's supposed
That's
to be
actually not.
statewide
You want me to
program.
address that, Rick? Yeah,
Yeah, you can do that.
That's Equal Justice USA. Right now, it's Newark, right? If other communities are interested in that, get in contact with me through and I'll put you in touch with the Equal Justice discussion, right? And we can look at what can be developed for other cities. Important to that, that is outside of the box of the mandated reforms that the Newark police are supposed to be going through, right? Straight out of the leadership in the sensitivity of Mayor Ras Baraka, right? That's out of it. I'm putting my information in the chat. We are resuming. It's called Trauma to Trust. We're resuming those trainings in person at the end of this month, right? So Newark residents, or you got stakeholders in Newark, we like to, you can be considered, right? Other communities, we can talk about what we can do to help you as a part of your own community's police reform effort. I'm gonna share my information so we can do that. Right on, great question.
Thank you again to Chairman Robinson and to Zai Mohammed, my uncle, for giving such a rousing presentation. You have your marching orders, you know the bill numbers. Let's get on the phone. Let's start doing what we have to do.